In the top stories, Saharan dust plume prompts health advisory in St. Kitts and Nevis, Trump administration halts student visa applications, and flood wreaks havoc in India's financial capital. Welcome to the ZIZ newscast. Today is Wednesday, the 28th day of May 2025. I am Jasmine Thomas. First on the national scene, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and the Ministry of Health have issued a public advisory in response to a Saharan dust plume currently affecting the Federation. The advisory urges residents, particularly those with respiratory conditions, to take precautionary measures to protect their health. The Saharan air layer, SAL, is a recurring weather phenomenon that forms over the Sahara Desert in northern Africa and typically occurs between March and September. Carried westward across the Atlantic Ocean, this dry dust-laden air mass can reach the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and southern United States. Health officials warn that the current plume has significantly increased levels of airborne particulates, which can aggravate respiratory conditions such as asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and allergies. Reported symptoms may include itchy or burning eyes, sneezing, chest tightness, and wheezing. In severe cases, exposure may lead to difficult breathing that requires urgent medical attention. To minimize health risks, residents, especially those most vulnerable, are advised to limit time spent outdoors, wear protective masks when outside, practice good respiratory hygiene, including regular hand washing and covering coughs and sneezes, monitor symptoms, and ensure medications like inhalers are readily available. Seek medical attention if symptoms worsen. The Ministry of Health encourages the public to remain vigilant and take these preventative steps seriously as the dust plume continues its movement across the region. Cricket sensation Jazara Claxton continues to receive praise for making her West Indies women's senior team debut. Minister of Sport, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, was amongst the many voices sending a congratulatory message. And Minister Duggins said history was made as Jazara Claxton, the first female cricketer from St. Kitts and Nevis to be selected to the West Indies women's team, officially made her T20 international debut against England. On debut, Jazara secured her very first international wicket, a moment that speaks volumes about her talent, composure, and readiness for the global stage. She is not just living her dream, she is proudly putting St. Kitts on the international cricket map. Congratulations, Jazara. The entire nation celebrates with you. The St. Kitts Tourism Authority, in partnership with the Nevis Tourism Authority, officially launched its highly anticipated diaspora program during the Ansar Reunion 2025 in Toronto, Canada. Branded under the theme We Liming, the initiative is a heartfelt invitation for Kittitians and divisions abroad to reconnect with their roots and contribute to a reimagined vision of sustainable and inclusive tourism. The program offers a variety of travel-related benefits and engagement opportunities. Participants will have access to reduced hotel rates at prominent accommodations, including Royal St. Kitts Hotel, Koi Resort, Park Hyatt St. Kitts, Timothy Beach Resort, Uwali Beach Resort, and Hamilton Beach Villas and Spas. In addition, exclusive discounts will be available at selected attractions and restaurants throughout the Twin Island Federation. The program also provides diaspora members with access to marketing and training resources through webinars and a quarterly newsletter. Participants can register to become official tourism advocates representing the islands in key international markets. Loyalty perks will be available via a diaspora card, which can be used with participating local businesses during visits home. This program also includes efforts to engage members of the wider CARICOM community, including Anguillians and the launch coincides with a vibrant schedule of upcoming cultural events such as the Nevis Mango Festival on the 4th of July, Restaurant Week from July 17 to 27, Nevis Culturama from the 24th of July to the 5th of August, Grill Fest on the 26th of July, Caribbean Premier League cricket matches in August, and the Sugar Mass Carnival from December 12, 2025 to January 2, 2026. Diaspora members who register will receive a unique code to unlock program benefits. On the regional scene, in some news that directly affects the Caribbean, the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has instructed American embassies around the world to halt the scheduling of new student visa appointments as it appears to expand social media screening for such applicants. In a memo sent to U.S. diplomatic posts, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that the suspension would remain in effect until further guidance is issued, according to a report from the BBC. The message said that the upcoming changes in vetting procedures for student and foreign exchange visas would have significant implications for embassies and consulates. The memo reviewed by CBS's news directed consular sections to remove any unfilled student visa appointments from their calendars while following previously scheduled interviews to proceed. And now for news on the international scene. India's financial capital and one of its largest cities has experienced its wettest May in more than a century, with the unusually early arrival of the monsoon season causing a ferocious weekend downpour that turned roads into rivers and flooded a newly inaugurated underground train station. Mumbai, a city of more than 12 million, has recorded more than 400 millimeters of rainfall this month so far, according to data from the Indian Met Department, with much of the downpour arriving late last weekend. The deluge caused chaos and delays across transport networks, including at the newly inaugurated Worli metro station. India's $4 trillion economy is heavily dependent on the monsoon, which brings rains that farmers depend on to support the country's agricultural sector, which employs nearly half of the country's 1.4 billion people. The rains, which usually arrive in June and last through September, are needed to grow crops, irrigate farmland, and replenish India's reservoirs. But this year's early arrival has caused havoc across Mumbai, India's financial capital, and home to its vaunted Bollywood film industry, flooding roads and submerging cars. And now for a look at the weather. Present weather is cloudy. Winds are moderate from the northeast at 13 miles per hour. Seas are 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. The weather forecast for today predicts partly sunny skies in general with brief cloudy spells and a 60% or moderate chance of brief passing showers. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of brief passing overnight showers. Sunset today will be at about 20 minutes before 7. Sunrise tomorrow morning at around 25 minutes before 6. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. Grace be to you and peace be multiplied.